Welcome to the CEO Launch Podcast.
We are a dynamic mother-daughter duo bringing you personality, insights, and practical advice from two different generations of entrepreneurship.
We aren't just mother and daughter. We are also best friends and business partners.
I've watched my mom help thousands of entrepreneurs start the businesses of their dreams, including me. And now it's your turn. Hello, CEO Launch family. Welcome back to episode 36. Last week, we talked about how important it is to build genuine relationships, not just for your business, but for you personally. This week, we're going to talk about how you are the solution to someone else's problem. So you have a great story for us today to kind of get us in the mindset of what it means to be the solution to someone else's problem. Right, Mom?
Yeah, so this is a story, I'm going to be dramatic. This is a vulnerable story. No, I'm just kidding. No, it kind of is, though, for real, because last year was a very tough year. It was good and tough at the same time, right? Had a lot of stuff going on. And last year I had finally, towards the end, broke down and was like, I need help. So if you go back to our first episode from this season, we talked about how important it is to ask for help when you need help, right? And I realized that I needed help, and I needed help in a lot of different areas. It wasn't just business. So if I need help in my business, hiring somebody in my business is not really frowned upon because that's what you do in business. But when you need help in your personal life, a lot of times people have a tendency to look down on you. Also, maybe I was just dealing with my own little personal guilt around this, right? And so I decided to hire a housekeeper. Because I was struggling in that area and I just didn't have time to do the things that needed to be done to keep the house clean like I needed it to be clean, right? I had a lot of guilt about this. And I struggled a lot because it was almost like I could hear my grandma in my head like, girl, you hired somebody to clean your house. You can't clean your own house. So I had that guilt going on in my head. And I also had the guilt of our parents cleaned their own houses and took care of their kids and did this and did that. And so after getting over that, which was not easy, getting over that guilt, then I had to deal with the guilt of, now I got to have somebody come in my house. Is this person going to judge me? Are they going to say, oh my gosh, she's so messy? Or I can't believe she got this big old house and can't keep it clean. All these things. So all of these things are playing in my head, by the way, right? It's not a good conversation that I'm having with myself until I finally, stepped out of it. So the person came, looked at the house and the things that I needed them to do, and she cleaned. She gave me a quote. And so she gave me a quote, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And then we scheduled a day for them to come back. So even between the time that she came to give me the quote and the day that she actually came to clean the house, I was still having these conversations in my head. Like, I can't believe you hired somebody. You could just take a day and just get your house cleaned and all this other stuff, right? And so when she got here, I was still feeling like, am I going to be judged? Are they going to look at me crazy? Well, let me tell you something. That housekeeper came. First of all, she had a whole crew. She had a whole crew. It was 4 of them. And they came in, and the way they cleaned my house, if I had taken a day off to clean my house, it wouldn't have looked like what it looked like. What they did. Like, they came in and they just knocked everything out. Like, I saw one lady she was cleaning the filter on my dryer. I was like, wow.
Not just scraping the lint off, like scrub.
No, she had a brush and she was actually cleaning the lint filter on the dryer. It was amazing. They did an amazing job. And one of the things that experience taught me was that there are people out there that need what you offer, what I offer, and they're afraid to come to you because they're afraid of being judged. And I've experienced it. I've had clients come to me and need multiple years of tax returns done, or they've never done their bookkeeping and now they need to get their stuff in order. And there's a sense of shame that comes with them coming to the table and saying, hey, I haven't done my books in 2 years. And I never thought about it like this until I was on the other side of it. And honestly, I don't know if I've ever made anybody feel bad about not having their stuff together. We do. I try really hard not to.
You made me
but
feel
I'm
bad.
more in you're an exception. You don't get the same treatment. You don't pay.
Fine.
So you get to be Hayes. You don't pay. But yeah, I try not to make people feel bad about whatever has happened. And so I'm just saying all that to say, what is it that you do that people may have shame about? They may have a hard time admitting that they need what you have. How will you be able to position that in a way that will make people feel comfortable coming forward or raising their hands to say, hey, I need what you got.
And I think coming from that particular standpoint and approach, it requires an emotional trigger, and not in the negative way of like when we talk about triggering, but it sets something off in us that makes us feel safe, makes us feel comfortable with whatever the service provider is well, that was a little redundant, but whatever the service provider is providing you, because you feel seen, you feel seen and you feel like your problem is understood. And because of that, it makes you feel okay about whatever particular experience that you're looking to have with that particular business. And I think as a business owner, it's important for you to listen to your clients and their pain points. Everybody's always talking about pain points. But seriously, your clients do give you clues about what they need and what they don't need.
Yep. And you listen. So I know for me, last year we instituted a new procedure for our tax prep. We were trying to streamline. We're always trying to streamline and make things easier, make things better. And one of the pieces of the process was a little bit of a pain for people. And I know that because people said it, and multiple people said it. And it weren't just the people who are always complaining that said it, right? And so because people were saying it, one of the things that I made sure that I did this year was I tried to do something to simplify it, to make it differently. Like, you got to listen to your clients. And it's not all of the things that they say to you aren't going to come in the way of a suggestion. It might come in the way of a question, it might come in the way of a complaint. And so we just got to pay attention.
And be adaptable. Sometimes when we hear things that are outside of what our particular vision is, we can kind of close off to it. But you have to be adaptable, especially with your service offerings. I know for me, when I started off doing resumes, I kept hearing like the same things over and over again. It was just like, I was having conversations with people and I'm asking them like, oh, what did you accomplish at work? And I would just hear crickets. And I'm talking to people that's been at this particular organization for 10, 20 years, and they don't know what they accomplished over the years. And it's at no fault of their own. But I realized that a lot of people were having trouble with really thinking about even accomplishing anything at work. So then I adapted. First thing that I did was I started asking different questions. Tell me about something that you created at work. Tell me about something or a time where you were on a project that other people weren't, or that you got asked to join a team, or, things like that. So I changed that way. And then eventually I had to change my services because it wasn't necessarily, I realized the issue wasn't fully that people needed resume services. People needed career coaching because they didn't even know how to navigate that conversation. So I think it's really, really important for people as you are building your business to be adaptable in what you offer as you're listening to your clients and you're learning what your clients are doing. Because once you learn those behaviors and those habits, then you start having some repeat customers, depending on what your business offers. But yeah, it definitely can make a difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know I've experienced that as well, where I hear certain things and I think, wow, that may be something that I need to consider or take into consideration. So you got to be adaptable. So let's jump into our takeaways. So one of the things that we have to do is know the things that keep our clients up at night. What is it that has them up at 2:00 in the morning? What are they worried about? What are they searching on Google at 2:00 in the morning? I mean, you got to really get into the heads of your clients to know what is it that's keeping them up at night so that you can be that solution.
And I think another takeaway to think about is to anticipate the fears and objections that your clients have and think of ways that they can overcome them. one example that I really enjoy is how when the pandemic happened, so many places started doing in-store pickup. One of my favorite stores that ended up doing like a pickup service was Target. And not only, Target has a fantastic omni-channel just system. Like I could talk about this a lot. But more so, what Target realized was that people had a fear of going inside of the store. So they created something that was seamless and, continuously updated the technology to make it an easy experience that you didn't have to face that fear of going inside of the store anymore. You can still have the simple convenience of getting something the same day within a few hours and everything will be fine. So that's one thing that has been super, super important when it comes to Target and other places. And that's something that you have to think about as an entrepreneur as well. What are those fears and how can you create things that help your clients overcome them?
Yeah, so the last thing that I was thinking is that we have to listen to what our clients is saying and asking. Yeah. So listen to what they're asking for and make sure that you ask them the right questions.
Right.
So thank you for being with us today. I hope that this session was helpful. It helped me just to be able to share that story and just to share how I was able to take my personal experience to see how we can make it better for our clients in the future. Yeah. So if you haven't already found us and followed us on social media, please do so at the CEO Launch. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And if you are on Facebook, you are invited to join our group at the Efficient CEO Movement. Until next week, we'll see ya.
And don't forget to take off.
This is a Clearwood production.